Imagine, you fled your country due to conflict and spent the next decade living in an overcrowded camp with limited access to basic necessities. Despite this, you worked hard in school and were one of the few sponsored to resettle and study in Canada. You were excited with the prospect of bettering your life and the life of your family. However, you find another set of challenges awaiting you: discrimination, negative experiences from teaching staff, and social isolation. You are a refugee student. This is a generic story of an average refugee student that comes to study at Fraser University through World University Services of Canada Student Refugee Program, WUSC SRP. Every year, 95 institutions across Canada accept 130 students.
My name is Misha Khan, and I will be talking about the experiences of refugee students at SFU. Since I'm not a refugee student myself, throughout my submissions, I have tried to use language and suggestions provided by refugees. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that this research took place on the unceded traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, Coquitlam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. The challenges mentioned are experienced by refugee university students globally. To better understand the system and work with stakeholders to implement solutions, I have chosen to focus my work at the refugee population at my university, SFU. The root cause for the challenges is that there is a lack of understanding about the refugee experience, the narrative surrounding refugees, and the rhetoric surrounding their identities, specifically being Black and Muslim.
The stakeholders mainly involved: SFU Student Services and the institution as a whole. Currently, there is very little to no collaboration between the Student Refugee Program and faculty and the Student Refugee Program and local resources.
The two existing solutions for the challenges include 1. Creating a safe space for refugee students, and 2. Training SFU personnel on supporting refugee students and practicing inclusivity.
Creating a safe space allows students to share their lived experiences, to decrease the stigma surrounding their identities, and it increases opportunities to promote social connection. Refugees have felt welcome at global community events because they promote intercultural understanding, promote social connection, and provide a sense of belonging. Dreams of Humanity, Refugee Voices is a photography-based project in Metro Vancouver created by a SFU refugee student. It provides a safe space for refugee students to share their stories. This, in return, decreases stigma, amplifies their voices, and promotes intercultural understanding. By proactively training SFU teaching staff about the refugee experience and how to practice inclusivity, the experiences of refugee students in the classroom can be improved.
Wellbeing and learning environment is a network faculty and instructors can enroll in to learn about how they can promote well-being in their classroom through 10 conditions, 2 of them being inclusivity and flexibility, which are important to the refugee experience. The gap is that it does not include all teaching staff because of a lack of awareness about the network or them choosing not to enroll. The National Association of School Psychologists provides training and guidance for instructors on how to support refugee students. The gap in the solution is a limited reach. The first gap is a lack of awareness about the needs and lived experiences of refugee students. The second gap is a limited collaboration between faculty members and teaching staff and the Student Refugee Program. Levers of change for the first gap include 1. Knowledge sharing, 2. Embedded programming, 3. Conducting a needs assessment, and 4. Providing refugees with a platform and centering to their voices. The levers of change for the second gap include increasing collaboration between faculty, teaching staff, and the Student Refugee Program, and providing faculty, teaching staff, and tutors with proactive training on the needs of refugee students and how to promote an atmosphere of inclusivity and empathy.
The main lesson I learned from this project was what Nadal Misri, a Palestinian refugee and the project manager of the Refugee Livelihood Lab, said, which is to center to voices and leadership of refugees when determining how to best support them. It is important to provide refugees with spaces where they can advocate for themselves and lead projects that support their well-being. I hope this presentation provided some insight on the experiences of refugee students at SFU. Thank you for listening.